Dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving into another machine on the Vulnhub. Yeah, this one. I will put the link in the description section below so that you can download and play on your own. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. So now let's get started. In this video, I'm going to show you how to conduct log poisoning and also of course now we are using a bit new version of Kali Linux, and newer Kali Linux will prevent us from conducting such log poisoning. So how to bypass such limitations. Okay, so now we can head over to Kali Linux. To begin with, first of all, we need to discover the IP address of the target. And so as you can see over here, the IP address of the target machine could be recognized as 228. So what shall we do next? We need to perform port and safe scanning with a map. To save time of this video, I've already done that before, so now we can get out its result. As you can see over here, I took the options like SynScan, the default script scan, virtual scan, and then followed by the -p- to do the full range port scan. The last option of all is ON to output the result into this file. Although the IP address of the target machine has been changed as I re-imported the machine into the VirtualBox. So different IP address has been assigned by the internal DHCP server of VirtualBox. Anyway, from the Nmap scanning results, we can tell that the target has two open ports. The first one is 22, which is running SSH service, and also the version information. I don't think we can find any workable vulnerability or exploit for this particular version of OpenSSH. The next one is 80, which is running HTTP service. Also the version information, Apache 2. So I think it's very clear what we shall do next. We need to emulate this web application both manually and automatically. Let's fire up the browser to do kinds of manual emulation first. The IP address of the target machine. Press enter, and we got something back. So, some duplicate messages. But in the end, we find the PHP. Very interesting. And as usual, we need to check its source code. Here, we find two important sections. The first one is comment. So this time, there are no clues in the source code. Yeah, maybe I've already told you, a directory.php. So I think the directory should be this one. Or, as you know, for every line consists of a duplicate string. So later we need to check, or we need to find the directory name. And then also below we find this code, this source code. And so from this PHP source code, we can tell that, this is the parameter name file, and the method is get. Okay, so it's very possible we can, the target machine has local file inclusion vulnerability. Okay, so I think we, without going further, I'd like to check whether we can find this directory. Let me copy this address and put over here. Let's press enter, but not found. So how about this one? So I kill. So maybe I can Okay, let's press enter. So this time we got something different. No error, not found message. So how about we pass the file parameter and we try to access password file. And we successfully retrieved the content of this file. Maybe we can use source code. This would be more organized and clear. And we can find two normal users. We can copy and paste over here. And also the second one. So next thing is we need to exploit this vulnerability, this local file inclusion vulnerability. So how to do? Let me show you my methodology. And we can use the command line. We can queue. Maybe we can copy this URL or address. Next, we can try to access the private key of two users. So home, and we can copy, paste over here. The private key will be living in SSH directory, hidden SSH directory, and the file name, but nothing come back. So how about the second user? Less strange. Okay, press enter, but we still didn't get anything back. So how about the authentication log file? var log authentication. We successfully retrieved the content of this log file. So a very big step so far. So now we need to poison this file. And if we can poison the log file, and then we can, of course, we can try to insert something malicious code like PHP code. And later we can, use this code to run command. Okay, so how to poison this SSH authentication log? Normally we can use SSH, and we can use the single quotes, PHP, system, and get method, cmd. The IP address of the target machine, press enter. But, because now we are using a bit new, maybe 2024 version of Kali Linux, and the newer version of Kali Linux will prevent us from doing some kinds of log poisoning or, the malicious username. Okay, so how to do? I think we can take two ways. The first way is the Python. We can use paramiko and use the, this name, this payload as username, and try to connect to the target machine. Alternatively, here in this video, I'd like to show you the second way, which is Metasploit. Okay, let me launch Metasploit console with Q option. This means quiet mode, so this will not display banner message. Okay, it's done. Now we can search SSH auxiliary, or maybe we can log in. And I think this module is what I'm looking for. We can copy, and then we can use this module, show options. We can set local remote host to our target machine. Set remote port. Oh, we do not need, we just leave leave it as default one, okay? Default value. Next, we can set a username. This should be malicious payload. PHP, question mark, PHP, system, and $get square brackets, cmd parameter name. Okay, set password. We can set to anything. Now we can run it. Okay, it's done. I think, this login attempt has been saved into SSH authentication log file. So now what can we do next? We can try to access this log file again, authentication, and we can pass the parameter name, cmd, and ID. As you can see, this command has been executed. Great. So now we can try to get shell on the target. We can try to run netcat. Netcat is there. So now let's go back to terminal window and set up the listener on the Kali Linux, waiting for collection from the target. So we can try use the easiest way, the option, IP address of the target, non-target should be IP address of Kali Linux and port number. Press enter, but it's not working. So I think we need to go to website to try some other commands like Python. We can copy and paste over here. And we need to check the version of Python on the target machine. So which Python 2 is not available. How about Python 3? Python 3 is available on the target machine. So now we can change this to Python 3 and attacking IP address. And also, as always, I'd like to change port number to 44555. Okay, now we can copy this reverse shell command of Python and put in the end, press enter. Now I think it's working. Fantastic. Yes, we have already got a collection from the target machine, and we can try to spawn interactive shell by Python 3. Spawn. This should be a double quotes. Bin bash. Okay, it's done. And also I'd like to define environment variable term. So then we can clear screen whenever to get a bigger space on the window. And we find this, very suspicious directory. We can cd or navigate into this directory. And we find this one. We can copy. So what's that? It looks like this is encrypted password of this user. So now I think we can copy and save to file. Before we try to use default log keyword list to brute force, we need to check this one. Because the name itself has already told us its usage. So this should be dictionary. And we can use the head like 10 secret. I think, yes, this is dictionary indeed. So next we need to transfer this file to Kali Linux. And then we can use John Reaper in combination with this dictionary to crack it. And you can use Python to set up a web server on the target machine to transfer or download this file. But here I'd like to showcase another way or approach. We can set up another listener on the Kali Linux secret. And now let me cut. We can copy the name and pipe operator, IP address, okay, press enter. Let's switch back to this tab. I think this listener has received data, and this should be size of such data. So now we can check how many words in this dictionary. Very small. Okay, so now I'd like to use John the Ripper to, or not, lock you word list. So this time I'd like to use downloaded dictionary to crack it. And we can use the show option to display cached password. Okay, so now we can switch our shell to another user. We can go to home directory. Less strange. Okay, it's successful. Next, we can readme text. And now we can try to run sudo to see whether this user, the current user, can run with sudo, can run vim. So I think now we can know. I think also I'm certain you also know how to exploit vim to elevate privilege. But anyway, we can go to the website of CTF opens. Just I mentioned over and over, we cannot remember everything, right? So I'd like to go to this website to get help, okay? So now, paste over here, sudo. I think it's working. And now, what's going on? Okay, as you can see, although this shell is not very good, but anyway, we have already got back, we have already elevated privilege to root shell, okay, to root user. So I think that's pretty much it. I'd like to see you next. Have a good day, please.